Netflix book club.
Netflix book club.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Welcome to Netflix Book Club. My name is Casey Aurora, and I'm joined with
Dennis Rooney.
Steve McDonald.
And we got Neil in the booth. This week our selection is The Believer, directed by Henry Bean. It's a 2001 movie. It is about a guy named Danny Ballant, that's the character's name, who's a young Jewish man who develops fiercely anti-Semitic views. It's based on a true story about a guy who was Jewish and joined the KKK and was later revealed by the New York Times to actually be Jewish. And the movie is, I would say, in terms of stream it or not stream it, I would say don't. Just straight up don't. The movie is, I would call it American History X Light.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say watch it because I feel like it's a well put together movie structurally and it's kind of interesting. I could use one more fight scene. I say watch it.
I think I'm gonna go with. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really torn because
Torn.
I liked it, but I would say don't stream it. I don't think it's that great.
How could you like it?
I liked some of it, but I just didn't
Like-
it's not that great.
Okay, all right. Well, that's
You know,
fine.
like it's like a pretty good. It felt like a good try.
Okay.
Like it's one of those moments where I watched it and I was like, it's being shot in Super 16, or it was being shot 16 millimeter. It
Grand jury
obviously
prize
was
at
in-
Sundance that year
That's
too.
true.
No, and it's
That's
like
the
Grand Jury
Moscow one,
Prize,
which is
and
like
I
the lower
definitely-
end.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely had a moment where when I was watching it, I was like, I'd like to see something else by this director.
Wait, I'm sorry. I assumed everyone said don't stream it. Dennis, what did you say? Did you say don't?
I said stream it.
Oh, you said stream it.
I said
Okay.
stream it,
I just
yeah.
thought everyone said don't.
No,
All
I'm
right,
gonna say don't.
So we have 2 and 1. That's fine. I guess everyone should take a minute to watch the movie, or however many minutes it takes to watch that movie, and then we'll get back and we'll give you the details. Right?
That's right.
All right. Cool. We'll be right back.
So the other night, you said that you thought the modern world was a Jewish disease. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
In the movement, this racialist movement, we believe there's a hierarchy of races, you know. Whites at the top, blacks at the bottom, Asians, Arabs, Latins, somewhere in between. Why are you writing this down if you're recording it?
Helps me concentrate. Danny, what about the Jews?
Jews, Judaism, it's like a sickness.
And we're back, and the movie still sucks. It's such an awful. The only redeeming quality about the movie.
Hold up, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
why'd you pick it, and where did it let you down?
Well, first of all, my first choice was a Hood selection, and you had said
I shot it down.
Yeah, you shot it down. So
Which I don't
technically-
think we're allowed to do, but I did it.
Yeah, you did, and I don't know why I listened to you.
You
I'm
did
like,
it for some reason. You
Yeah.
backed
What was
down.
the original selection?
it was like some Hood movie with Cameron, which was amazing. by the
Cameron
way.
has made several Hood movies. I've seen
God.
one of them, and I was like, no way.
Now,
Yeah.
This movie was also based on a true story, the Hood movie I selected. But this movie, it's based on a true story.
You went totally opposite end of the spectrum.
And I should have
Yeah.
stuck with my Hood roots, is what I should have done, because this movie was horrendous. In the real life, the guy who this movie's inspired by, Dan Burrows, after it's revealed that he is that he's Jewish by the New York Times, he actually kills himself, which is not the same thing in this movie. This movie has more of a redeeming ending. It's like, oh yeah, like as if Hollywood won't produce a movie that makes a Jewish person look terrible, is what essentially that kind of ends with, because he ends up sacrificing himself at the end at this church. Synagogue. Good God, at this synagogue, and it blows up, and he dies, and then he ends up in hell, where he's just running up a set of stairs.
You're drawing a lot of. First of all, he doesn't sacrifice himself because he has plenty of time to get out. He does kill
Yeah.
himself. He
Yeah.
just doesn't necessarily put a gun
But
to
it's
his
like
head
a
and pull the
martyr
trigger.
way. You know what I mean? He does it in like a way that's redeeming, where
I
it's
didn't
just like,
think-
eh.
I didn't
sorta.
think- the redeeming part is him telling everyone to get the hell out, and
Yeah,
that's
but-
sort of redeeming. But he can't live with himself. He hates himself,
Right.
and he hates what he's become. So he kills himself essentially. And I don't think he winds up in hell. I think he's in some weird form of purgatory. I actually now
You mean
I know you
running
didn't-
away from your like middle school Jewish teacher? I don't know. That seems hellish.
If that's
to me.
hell, that's not that bad. Running
Yeah.
up a flight of stairs for
That-
eternity, really? That's what they're.
That's your origin story that made you beat a Jew at the beginning of the movie. that's what
Yeah,
gets
that
you.
was kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. My consistent problem with, and that's why I was like, I'm torn between like Like, I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I think that there's actually really good performances in it, but they don't explain at all why. Like, he just
What the
continually
turn.
has, like, he's got continually, like, the moments, like, throughout the movie of being, like, of like, where it's almost like, I read on the internet why I hate the Jews.
Right.
And where it's like because of financial things, because of this, because of that, because of all these different things. But there's never really explained well why he,
Did something happen to him
as
as a
a
kid?
Jew,
Yeah.
hates the Jews.
It's like he has a realization, and during the movie they flash back to when he's a child in Hebrew school, and there's like a realization he has that about God, you know, not caring about the Jews, and he's and something about the sort where it's just like
God being a bully.
What's that? God's a
Yeah.
dick.
Yeah.
He takes the takes the stance that God's a dick and that he shouldn't believe in any of this.
He's
and
kind of a
maybe all
piece
of
of
it is
shit
just
kid, though.
well, no, but still, even as a piece of shit kid, like I was that kid when I was talking to friends of mine that were super Christian in rural Ohio, where I was like, well, yeah, but God seems like a total asshole. I'm not doing like why would I ever pay attention to any of this? The only thing is that I didn't then turn around and think to myself, you know what I should do? Kill a bunch of Christians.
Right.
Like I didn't.
But
I just
that's
don't.
also-
That's the flip that doesn't make sense to me. Is that there's like a multi-year gap that they never talk about, where it's like, well, at what point did he decide not only that he didn't really want to be Jewish, that he hated Jews, that he wanted to radicalize against them, that he was then going to join these group of people and become a skinhead.
It's
like
so
there's
extreme.
there's so
It
there's
jumps
no,
from him being like a questioning kid full of dissent for his own religion to him being like, I'm gonna kill Jews.
Yeah, the-
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he's-
There's
it
no.
goes from
that's my
philosophical
primary
to
problem with
crazy.
it, because like it seems like there's a general like subtext to the entire thing that makes it seem like his father was terrible to him, like his father
Kinda,
was like
yeah.
an alcoholic or something, like beat him or was really awful to him because of his relationship that he has with his father, but they don't get into it, so I have no idea.
And it's amazing that there wasn't more Jewish conflict scenes, considering that it was, I guess, based in New York. Was
Yeah.
the setting
Yeah.
for the movie. It
Right.
was just constantly. I'm like, how that kind of blows my mind more about how anyone could be racist with this living in the city, like just full of every culture you could possibly hate,
Right,
and then
and he
you
only
just
has
choose
one
to like
encounter.
one encounter at the beginning that is
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
Showtime-
I
Well, the
mean-
deli scene
Yeah.
counts as another.
that's-
One
yeah.
encounter there.
that
He's
was
got a deli
upstate.
scene. He
Yeah.
tries to shoot a guy in the head. He also sets 2 bombs. I mean,
No,
there is a
yeah,
certain
there
amount
is
of
a
it
certain
that's
amount,
like.
but it's like, should've
But
been
also, it's the movie's not focusing on though. Hey, look at this, not like neo-Nazi
Well, yeah,
beating up Jews.
The
It's more
writer
about,
had to get his Jewish ideas out through a script, so that's what it felt like. It
Yeah.
felt like this dude like had some theories on Jews. He's
It's
like,
a good
"No,
thing that
I'm
you
gonna
bring
put
up
him
the
on screen."
writer. The writer is the same guy who directed it, Henry Bean, and he wrote such awesome movies as Basic Instinct 2 and Noise, a movie about a man driven crazy by the noise in New York City.
Not gonna lie, have you seen that movie?
What, Noise?
Yeah.
No.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. There's a Noise
It's-
2007
I wouldn't say-
and
I wouldn't
a
s-
Noise 2011.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know
There's
that.
there's
There's
two
two
parts.
versions.
Yeah, there's 2
yeah,
parts.
yeah.
That
Which-
I didn't know. I've only
which,
seen
by
the
the
first
way-
one, which is mostly just Tim Curry, or not Tim Curry. It's mostly Tim Robbins just going crazy.
Yeah,
which
but
is
I mean,
nice.
really, a movie about a guy driven crazy by the noise in New York City? That sounds like somebody who just needs to move.
No, it's
there's
actually
been
kind of.
there's been movies made
kinda
about
fun.
dumber things than that.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
get it, but it's just like this is what I'm trying to establish, that Henry Bean, the guy who co-wrote the movie The Believer, stinks.
Yeah,
It's really is what it
yeah.
comes down to. I didn't
movie
think that the
stunk.
movie was good. I didn't think that the writing was good. You know, you know those Jews, even the word makes you sick. No, Henry, this makes me sick.
Yeah, but that's how those people talk, though. They're not the brightest people. I
Yeah.
mean, he's eloquent, but that doesn't make him
But
intelligent.
What I don't get is as a child, when he's philosophizing about this whole about his relationship with God, he's a lot more eloquent. And as he becomes older, he sounds like a dirtbag.
Well, except
I
for the
disagree.
difference is that's what I think is like probably the primary redeeming factor of the movie is Ryan Gosling does an amazing job of being somebody who is essentially like has like a blind rage against like a completely unhinged approach to like hating a people, and so it does like I think that's one of the primary redeeming things is that it's like Ryan Gosling is really really good. The movie's not great,
no.
but Ryan
He's the only
Gosling is
redeeming
really good in
quality
it.
about the movie, and that's why actually most of the awards that they won were in regard to Best Actor, and they were like just
Yeah.
a bunch of small award festivals. But the movie actually earned $1.3 million, and it cost 1.5. Ooh, just under the mark. So
Yeah, but it also put Ryan Gosling on the map.
yeah, that's true. It did do that.
I like no. This movie just felt like it was just like somebody around was going. You know what? These Nazis aren't looked at like humans enough. We need
Yeah.
to give that a chance here. Come
Do you
on,
think
guys.
it really humanized?
Humanized.
Thanks.
I think that what it was going for. It's what it felt like when watching
But
it.
didn't
like,
American
it was
History
trying
X really humanize
that
you know,
put a more
neo-Nazis?
realistic, like this, like again, it's like another one of those movies that just tries to force its like issue, like this thing, this conflict that's going on, not only with him, but just like all those meetings and those scenes. Like again, we know racists are stupid, whatever, but
Yeah.
it just felt like it was trying to make it sound smarter than that scene would probably ever go.
Yeah, but how's it forcing the issue when that's what the entire movie is about?
No, see, this is
Like
this is
they're
my-
saying, like the fascist meeting. I don't think. First of all, the movie's about the individual. It's about Ryan Gosling's character. It's not about all neo Nazis. It's about
No,
this
it's-
one
you're right.
dude's predicament.
And Billy Zane plays an amazing character, Curtis
Billy-
Zemf. I just want to
Billy
take
Zane
note of that.
plays the least Billy Zane character I've ever seen Billy Zane play.
Yeah, but he
in
was
this
good.
movie. No, he was good.
Yeah.
He was
But I
good.
definitely had a moment where he had long hair, and I was like, Billy Zane with long hair? What is this?
I think you guys are downplaying this movie a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a couple more redeeming qualities about it than you guys are giving it. I think the sensitivity training scene
That
was
great.
fantastic.
That was great.
a great scene. I
Yes,
really
that was a good
It went
scene.
off
See-
the rails a little bit towards the end of it. I thought it got. I was
They-
like, oh, they brought the. Come on, man. I
with
was-
which part? What do you mean? Like
when the dudes like towards the very end of it, when the side racist, they started
he's like, the
chiming in too
Holocaust
much.
didn't
yeah,
exist?
it was like they're trying to cover all the basest of racist.
Well, yeah, they're trying to
within
say
this
like
one
for
scene.
for a group of people who are, I mean, we can all agree like those are stupid views. Like a lot of them can't even agree with stuff. They just have this blind hatred that kind of binds them all, and that's why Ryan Gosling is the leader because he's eloquent and he's smart, but he's really not that smart. He's smarter than the rest of these dummies, but that doesn't
Yeah.
make him like
Yeah.
truly intelligent.
He's just king of the dummies.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see him. How about this? I'm the only one defending it. Let me just tell you what I didn't like about it. Every time Ryan Gosling's character brings up the Jews, he just starts talking about like, oh, they have better culture, more money, oversexed women. I'm like, dude, you're one already. Like, just just go down that road.
Yeah.
Every time he talks about shitting on them, he's saying all these great things about the
Yeah.
Jews.
And it's like something about at some point about when they have sex. He's like, it's like he's.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like he's
Oh, that
cuckolding
part,
Jews.
yeah. I was like, what?
Like he's
Yeah.
just on the side watching Jews have sex casually.
He just wants to watch Mel Brooks have sex with his love interest.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like what's your obsession is? It's not hatred anymore as much as it's strange.
But I think that's a part of the
Yeah.
movie, though. That's what it's starting to play out. Is like him, whether dealing with his racist views, but also his upbringing,
Yeah.
which is Jewish.
no, that's true.
So it's those kind of coming into conflict constantly. Him trying to find a way to make it more negative rather than just face the fact that he's a Jew.
My major question to you guys is this: the movie, this movie came out in 2001, which I guess was probably overshadowed by the towers falling. So, but because this was a tragedy.
Wow.
I'm gonna say that.
This was an independent film.
I don't, it's an awful movie. It's so bad. I'm so annoyed I had to watch it. Now, do you think this movie would have come out? I mean, this movie came out in 2001. American History X came out in 1998, right?
Yeah.
Do you think
Right.
this movie would have been produced or came out had not American History X been so successful?
If it hadn't have been so successful,
Yeah,
or
like
if it
American-
hadn't have even came out
Like
at
if
all.
American History X was very successful as a movie, all right, a lot
Yeah.
of people
Right.
people were talking about it. People were like, "Oh, this is an amazing movie," and then that was 1998. Do you think because of American History X's success, that's why a movie like The Believer came out?
It probably helped. It definitely probably helped it come out and get a
Mhm.
little bit of funding.
Like
and
it got
stuff.
bumped to the
I
top
would
of the
say-
script pile.
No, I would say this is that
Get bumped to
this
the
is
top
an
of the hate
interesting.
heap.
This is the thing. It's an independent film, which means that it's somebody's like it's their baby. It's their
Yes.
it's their thing that they're like, oh, I've got this story and I want to go with it. And the guy who wrote it,
Mm-hmm.
like when you look at it, it's like he's written such amazing things as Basic Instinct 2. Is that I have a
Right.
moment where I'm like that's just working. That's like I really need to pay.
When did Basic
rent.
Instinct 2 come out, though?
Uh,
Was this his
after.
first
2
film,
years
or
ago.
No, this was not his first film.
That's
Which
weird.
that's what I was surprised by was
Okay.
this was not his first
Well, yeah.
movie.
2006.
I mean, you kind of expect some sense of shitty when it Showtime presents
yeah.
Yeah,
at the beginning of the movie. Like, oh, all right.
but still,
we go.
when I looked at this movie, I definitely had a moment where I was like, it feels like an independent film. If it had a better cinematographer, if it had a better cinematographer, if it had a more experienced director, if it had a couple things like American History X had, it would have been the next American History X. At the same time, I also think that the only reason that the movie is on Netflix, the only reason that we had the opportunity where we were to even watch the thing and that it got distribution at all is that a few years later, Ryan Gosling became a star.
Yeah, we'd probably never watch this
We'd
movie.
never see this movie. I mean, this feels like one of those movies that's like, won grand jury prize, won a couple different things, no distribution, like very minimal distribution in art house theaters around the country, no distribution really anywhere. Ryan Gosling becomes a star. Now it's a bankable thing, and we can sell it again. And you're able to sell it as like a package deal towards Netflix.
Was the failure the direction or the writing?
I think a mixture.
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
I think that the problem with the direction was that he did a perfectly fine job of directing the actors. He did a terrible job of directing the camera.
Yeah, I think because
It was not visually interesting at the same time that it was
No.
emotional.
It looked like a
It's
movie that
TV
came out in the
TV.
early 90s.
It looked like a TV
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
it did look like a TV
Very
movie. Yeah,
And you know,
Yeah.
looking at it, he's only has directing. The only movie he's directed was Noise and The Believer. In terms of writing, I would say the guy who directed the movie, Henry Bean, has more of a writing background. I mean, he's written a lot of things, and it seems like a lot of them are written for just like, hey, I gotta make
Yeah.
rent.
Well,
know?
and to be completely honest, with a story like this and being an independent film, like there was one thing that I recognized while I was watching it because when I was making movies on 16 millimeter, I had this problem that I didn't understand when I was making stuff, and it took me years to like realize it.
Jews?
Is that no, it wasn't Jews. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
Do you have more? Is it Jews? No, just Jews. Okay.
No, I'm just bringing levity to your college story.
No, but the problem that you run into is that if you're shooting on 16 millimeter, the like how the lenses physically work with the frame, with the size of the frame.
Yeah.
If you don't have a ton of money to get a huge lens kit, you can only shoot certain shots. Like it's just
Okay.
physically impossible to
All right.
shoot different shots that don't look weird, like when you're panning, but like when you're like panning between two people in a conversation or something like that. Is that like as you're panning, because of the aspect ratio, because of the size of the frame, the lens physically makes it look weird. Which I noticed while I was watching this was that I was like, these guys didn't have any money.
That's true.
Like they didn't have any money to, and that was one of the
1.3 million
problems.
budget.
It's like that was one of the problems with the movie
1.5.
was that it's like if you had the kind of money that American History X had, if you had the kind of cinematography that American History X had, this would have been a phenomenally better movie.
I think the writing couldn't carry that. I don't think that anyone.
yeah.
If
I think that right now it's mostly that that the entire podcast would be about how there were like weak parts in the story. It wouldn't be also like, and there's some weird shots, and there's some weird like the editing was kind of weird in different spots. Like when they get into the fight in the awkward doorway at the synagogue about Israel.
yeah.
That was like a really weird scene in
Right.
general, but then also was shot in a way where it was like, why are you guys crammed in this tiny doorway? And then why it's like the cut on it was like I'm cutting here and then here and then here and then this lady talks and then we're here and then we're here and then we're
No,
here
of
and then this
course.
lady talks. And
We
it's like,
wouldn't discuss
this doesn't
the
make any
But
goddamn
cinematography.
sense.
that's theorizing whether or not it's budget or his shitty direction, like, or whether or not like his shots that he chose.
I don't
like,
think he could do more with the money anyway because of his lack of skill set. I just
probably a
think
combination of both.
Yeah, I
I
just
think
don't
it's-
think that would happen.
I can see your point that the budget being a problem, but yeah, I think it's
Well,
this-
and also
it's a mix.
I mostly think that it's that moment of what I really mean by it is that moment of, and it's kind of a benefit of the doubt moment I had with some of the cinematography was you end up in this position where as a director you're like, I don't have a lot of money, so we're going to shoot on location, so we're going to shoot in this room, and then you're like, I want to get this shot, and then you get there, you set up the camera, and you're like, well, if we knock a hole in this wall and move the camera 3 feet into the wall, we can get the shot that you want. But we can't do that, so what do you want to do now? And it's like, well, shit, I guess that we'll shoot it like this, and it's not going to look nearly as good,
shoot
but
it
it's
super
but
tiny
I'm
and
getting
cramped.
it.
That's what I
You know?
don't.
That's the benefit of the doubt that I'm willing to give him as
Mm-hmm.
a director, because, and it's almost at that level of like just the sheer difficulty that there is in making a movie with no money.
Yeah.
Is that I'm willing to be like, kind of with anybody that manages to like finish a movie and get it edited and done, I have like a modicum of respect for of like
No, of
you
course,
did
it's a
it.
huge
But at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time,
I mean, we
Yeah.
could say
it
that about
becomes that
trauma
moment.
films. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. We could say that about so many shitty films. We're
Of
just like, well, at
course.
least they got it done.
Drama
It doesn't matter. It's still shit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We could still say that.
You
It's-
choose
I-
to publish this.
No one's
you know
saying
what
we
I mean?
don't respect the guy. We're just
Yeah.
saying this movie. It's just.
Yeah.
I
it's-
like
don't
the
feel-
writing more than you guys are giving.
I
it,
think the
though.
movie is a stinker, and I think the guy who did it really like screwed the pooch on it. But I
Can we-
respect
the
him
be-
for
the
what
good-
he
Can
does.
we wait? Can we just take a moment and have it where I'm pretty sure possibly what there is that I dislike all the things that were said in the script because it was super anti-Semitic, and Casey feels the same way, and Neil feels the same way. Are you just super
Wait a minute.
okay? No, I'm
you
not
dislike
saying.
what was in the script because it was anti-Semitic.
I'm
You
not
know it's a work of
saying that
fiction, right?
I know.
Yeah, we're not. on
Don't
that.
you
I'm not
dare
on that.
call me an anti-Semite. Listen, in response to that, let me say this: the movie wasn't a huge success, but let's be honest, that's because Hollywood is run by the Jews. That's why. That's why this dude is working on Basic Instinct 2 years later.
That's
no,
true.
come on, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I mean
Yeah.
it's
They're like, yeah, you made us a believer, all right. Get to the sequel for Basic Instinct, Henry.
He'll never work in this town
they
again.
throw the script at his head. Rewrite this, idiot. The one thing, the storyline. This one part what I didn't understand is Ryan Gosling's character Danny Ballant falls in love with the woman who runs like this racist club's daughter,
Oh,
Yeah,
and
she's
then
like-
the daughter
Is
converts
she-
to Judaism.
Well, no.
What
that
was
was
that?
that was very, very not explained. Where I was
Yes.
like, she's their daughter, and then I came in, and I was like, she's fucking Billy Zane, and I was like, she's not their daughter. She just lives in their house or something.
Yeah, and now she's converting to
he's the
Judaism on the
boyfriend.
low.
She's house meat.
Like some people smoke pot secretly.
I like.
She's converting to Judaism secretly.
I do like how I guess her name was Lena was the older woman, the blonde woman in the
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
I like how she at the beginning after Ryan gives off his first time there, he gives off this prize-winning speech, and just all of a sudden she just looks at her like a prize fighter. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this kid's got something." It's like,
Yeah.
"What? You just heard one rant. How does he qualify?"
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
came into your apartment and started yelling.
Well,
yeah,
there was
he
a-
said
there was-
rage and said you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what do
There
you-
was a gap between that first speech and then eventually putting him in a suit and being like, you can be a leader, like you're that good. They do send him to the retreat and stuff, but
Oh yeah, that good
yeah.
old racist retreat.
yeah.
You gotta
Well,
get-
I think that the one dude just immediately knocks out Gosling.
Some R and
Yeah.
R.
That's what I'm talking about. That
Yeah.
stupid like Gosling's
This is-
smarter, but he's not smart.
Well, no, and that's the thing is that I think what's really messed up is that it's like I've seen a lot of different documentaries where it's like they captured that entire thing really well.
Yeah.
To be honest, like there's a couple different documentaries that I've watched where it's been like we're gonna have a Klan KKK barbecue, and it's like no, that's what it's like. It's like that. It's like they get there and then somebody's just like, oh, you like I want to punch you in the face, and
Yeah.
then they just punch you in the face, and then you get in a fist fight. Somebody ends up like almost hospitalized, and then you're like, let's drink beer and light a cross on fire. Like that seemed like that's like they did a pretty good job of
You
capturing.
want to blow up
that.
empty beer cans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, I got some nice target practice with these black little 1920s things.
Where the fuck did they get those? That's right. I totally forgot about that. And when I watched that scene, I was like, wait a minute.
Well,
Are they
Where
getting these
did you
shipped
get
in all the
those?
Let's
time?
explain what the because I'm
It's a
forgetting
it's a caricature of
It's like a
what's
man
the
in
word?
blackface.
What's the word? Yeah, but there's
the mammy.
Yeah. It's wooden cutouts and painted cutouts
Like-
of like
Someone
mammy.
had
Well
really good
done,
crafting
too.
skills.
Yeah, well
Yeah,
done.
really
like
well
these things
done.
would go for serious money. All right,
What
they
hour,
would.
What
'cause they're
hour in the
considered
camp
antiques.
are they doing this?
Yeah,
where
that-
they're designing these things?
And then they just blow them to bits.
That's
Yeah.
a part of
Arts
the
and
that's a part of the
crafts hour.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
a part of the
racist
budget. That's a part of the budget. I
Arts and
went to the
crafts
fucking
hour at
racist.
racist day camp.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like,
We-
oh, this is great.
We could have gotten a couple more lenses, but we decided to get these wooden painted cutouts of mammies for this
And-
one scene that they could shoot at.
It was thick cut wood too. This wasn't like they didn't go cheap. Now I know where the 1.5 million went. It was to these wooden cutouts.
What did you guys
Do you
think
think
of?
that? Do you think that he had a moment where he was talking with his producer and he was like, "No, we've got to get really nice cutouts," and they're like, "Henry, we could spend this money on a lot of other things," and he was like, "No,
Yeah, I want
mammy. I want really well put together mammies, and I want really well put together Jews who look like they're about to get on a
Sambos,
train.
That's the word I could not remember. Cardboard, wooden cutouts of Sambos. And it's just like, assuming they do this target practice thing all the time, were they saving this for Ryan Gosling? Like, oh, we got a new leader here. Let's break out the good wooden Sambos.
It's so
I brought my own Jewish targets.
Yeah. Like, I just imagine
wanna kill a
like,
Jew?
a children's anti-Semitic
God,
race
yeah.
camp, and they're like, today we're going to design Sambos and Mammies. And we're going to send them to the bigger kids to get shot. And everyone's like, yeah.
That's very funny.
I really would have liked to have seen more scenes of like what their research methods are for like figuring out all these Jewish theories that they had in the
Yeah.
movie. Like, but it's just one scene of him happening to highlight something on a website, and then the next scene is just cutting down. I was like, no, I want to see more of how he becomes an idiot.
Yeah,
I
there's-
will say I remember from that time period, and I bet that that's like one of those things, and it's a weird moment of like just in how technology has changed. Is that I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, seeing a bunch of different documentaries about hate.com.
Yeah, there was
Like there was a whole lot of them.
those hate groups were way on top of the internet.
Yeah,
boom,
they were
dude.
really
They were
on
all
top of
over
the
it.
internet, and it
Yeah.
was from like the early 90s, and so there was definitely that kind of feel to it of like oh, we're radicalized through the internet, but they like barely touched on it because it was still only 2001, which means that came out in 2001 means that it was shot in like 1999, because it was an independent film, so it probably took like at least 2 years to come out.
So did you guys like the ending or not?
Because
That's one of the biggest things I feel with movies is it's really hard to end a movie well, and I think this did it pretty good.
this is as good as it could have gotten.
Kind of an artsy ending.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
an
it
otherwise
was-
not too artsy movie, even though it deals with like heavy topic.
No, you're
matter,
right.
but-
I think that the movie's ending was it was fine.
Because one line, here's the one line that changes the entire. Because like you said, it was hell. I felt like it was more of a purgatory thing. But the rabbinical teacher or whatever says, "There's nothing up there. Where are you going? What are you doing? There's nothing up there."
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of like now it's not even like Nazis versus Jews. It's like existence versus like nothingness. Like, is there anything?
Isn't that in Jewish hell? It's not a Jewish hell. It's just a purgatory.
There's no such thing as
yeah,
hell.
there's no Jewish hell. It's just like
Yeah,
a
there's no
Oh,
Jewish
just
hell.
it's like a
purgatory?
purgatory anyway. So that's where he's in. So it
Oh,
kind of
okay.
it makes it seem like it's fine. And I think that movie's ending, that was, it was the best ending for that type of movie,
Honestly,
considering how it was written and considering how it was done.
I
like the ending, but I didn't like the movie.
I didn't like the ending. I thought that it was too heavy-handedly artistic.
It needed
Where it was
something.
but like at the end it was like art.
Yeah, it was kind of
and
like
that was I
dreamy
didn't
sequence.
I really didn't like that, but really what it comes down to for me is that when he was running up the stairs, all I wanted was the last time that he ran up the stairs.
Trips.
I wanted
Hits
him
his
to
head.
pass
Ow!
by.
Kisses a Jew.
I wanted him to pass by the guy to say there's nothing up there. He rounds out one more time. He gets up to the guy and then he stops on that thing.
Yeah, on the
And
landing.
because the thing is that the entire movie ends up being where it's like the whole thing is about him running away from his
Sure.
life, and it's like and it just continues to have that in his death.
What
Is
if
what they
it
kind of
was-
allude to, and I kind of liked the idea of like the first thought I had was, oh, I hope he stops. Like I just wanted him to. It was like if he had just stopped.
Yeah.
And stopped running, then it would have been like, oh, and like he was like he changed, like something changed, but nothing changed.
What if they
with
went
the
with a
guy.
really racist ending and it's just a nickel glued to the floor and he's trying to get it off? What if it's just that? Like they're like, hey, let's throw it all out the window.
Gonna love this nickel. Gonna
Yeah.
love it.
All right, so we're gonna go with I'm gonna go with Don't Stream It. And what about you?
I mean, if you liked what we said, if you liked it, like I said, I'm torn. I would say it's really up to whoever you are. I would say don't stream it personally, but I'm not 100% against it.
If you want to hear some really great theories on the state of America nowadays, no, I'm not going to say that it's without flaws. It wasn't a fantastic movie, but I think it's worth a watch. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's got some really good scenes and some really kind of glaring holes, but I say stream it.
All right, fantastic. That wraps up this episode. Tune in next week. We'll be watching In the Loop. Thank you.